Hey guys, this is the first time I'm going to do a commentary video on my runs. This is from a practice session, so they are stages, but they are not, there's no score. I did go and review all of the hits afterwards, but I didn't calculate a hit factor or whatnot. Um, Anyways, why don't we, I'll show you the video of the stage run all the way through, and then I will give you some commentary afterwards. Okay, so that was that. Let's go back. And there were actually two ways to, I guess the first thing I'll say is there were two ways that people were running this stage. Um, there's basically three main shooting positions on the left, on the right, and in the middle through the port. There were a couple, so there were on the left position, in the middle section of the stage, there are two targets that cannot be hit from the port. So you need to remember to hit those from one from the left side and one from the right side. The one on the left side is actually behind a barrel, so the only place to hit it is from the left side, even though it is technically on the right side of the stage. What I did, which was one way of shooting it, was to start on the left and go to the right side before entering. So you can see here, I run over to the right and then I go to the middle. Whereas the other way is that some of the shooters were actually most of the shooters were going straight to the middle after shooting the targets on the left, and then kind of doing a diagonal retreat um, to the right. Now, of course, in USPSA, as you can see, the with the fault lines here, you can step across those as long as you don't shoot, as long as you're shooting within the shooting area. So they were taking advantage of that and kind of going in a straight line over here, whereas I was kind of staying within the lines, partly not wanting to trip, I think, on the fault lines. But anyways, one area here that I could have improved is after hitting those initial targets. Um, well, one thing here at the beginning, some of the shooters were really leaning. As you can see here, this is the last target, that one I said that was behind the barrel on the right. Um, some of the shooters were starting really aggressively with both feet on the fault line so that that angle here wasn't so sharp. So that you could see that my transition there was a little slower. And for some of the other shooters was not as much because they were already in position leaning, and so they took the first shots already leaning into that angle. Okay, here the other thing is, and one context here is that I had not live fired in about 6 weeks with this gun. Um, I've been doing a bit of dry fire and do practice my reloads on the move, but here, um, with the timer in front of my buddies, did not grab for that second mag until I was already almost at the shooting position. So we can kind of see here that right about here is when I grab for it, whereas uh, optimally would want to grab that right away after ejecting the mag. You can actually see here the mag comes out right about there. But so that kind of delays my shooting there. So something to work on in dry fire and live fire. But I think part of that was shaking off the rust. But it is always good to note that. One thing that I did do well was on this right position, basically all alphas, including the crossover shot, the memory shot in the middle of the. We could see here when I transition this shot too. We're both alphas, so that was good. Now some people might say I was shooting too slow, and that's fine as well. But again, maybe shaking off a little rust. Here, I don't think it's as big a deal, but you can see that I do not run straight to the port. I stay within the fault lines, and I guess part of it is indoors. I'm a little more tentative than I am outdoors because the floor can be slippery, and also maybe just a cognitive cognitive thing to stay within the lines. In this case, because the distance is not so great, I don't think it made that big of a deal. But I think in longer distances, it can definitely give add a second or two, which would be unnecessary. Anyways, and then here I just cleaned up. I think there were eight rounds fired, and I think I had six alphas and two Charlies. Maybe one of those Charlies might have been a Delta, but overall the accuracy was pretty good. Again, this wasn't recorded for score, but I felt pretty good about that overall. Okay, this is the second stage of the practice session. It's actually the same stage and same target positioning, just I started on the right side in order to practice going right to left. So here is the stage in full, and then we'll do some comments. Okay, so that was the full stage, and you can see that, yeah, it's a little bit different going right to left as a right-hander, but there are going to be some times when we are forced to do that, so it's good to practice it when you get a chance. In this particular case, I took the route of going to the middle and then shifting back out to the left shooting position, and we'll see what happened there. So this first part was basically like the end of the first stage, shooting the three targets on the right, and then there's a target technically on the left side of the bay that can only be hit from this position. So that went pretty well. These targets were all, I believe, mostly alphas with maybe a Charlie or two. So that was pretty good. And as I went to the middle, basically similarly to what I did in the other stage, um, this time I think I maybe transitioned a little quicker in terms of reloading. But here I was purposefully trying to shoot a little faster. This is a practice session. It's not a match. So consciously trying to do a little faster than I usually do is what I did there. Um, and again, shots were fairly good, but there was one target where it was a Charlie Delta, which which happens, of course. And now here is mainly the area that I could probably improve the most on this stage, and that's this exit. I think I had two ways of methods here, and I kind of mixed them both up. One is sort of backing out, which maybe I'm more comfortable with on an earlier stage that's not shown here. I had backed out while reloading, but because I'm moving right to left, um, the other method, which I sort of pick up here, is to just sort of turn around and then run, which I probably should have committed a little sooner to that. So that was the, I guess, something that could have been optimized or done a little bit better. These practice sessions, it's not like a match where we have 4 or 5 minutes to review the stage. We really just have a minute or two, and then we all kind of take turns on the stage. So that's how we do the practice session. That being said, definitely something to remember and to practice in dry fire, but also a good reminder that when we make a stage plan, to have a little cognizance of the techniques we're going to use. And of course, training those techniques so we have confidence in them. So you can see here, I kind of in fact, I'll play this at real speed here. You can see here that right there, I'm I'm already at my position while I'm reloading. Um, and actually, this technique here, you can't really reload, or it's very difficult to reload while you're running because of you don't want to disqualify, DQ for breaking the 180. I suppose it was possible to start, and I do start here a little bit, but again, that is something to work on and maybe try different ways. There's different techniques. I saw one video where you could hold the gun sort of at an interesting angle to try to reload while you're making that right to left transition. But in any case, I guess I don't want to nitpick too much on that. And then finally finishing up this position, those went pretty smoothly. Um, and again, here hitting that last transition, it's minor nitpick, but again, that positioning on that fault line, maybe even leaning up against the wall, would have quickened up that transition. But overall, at least at my current capabilities, I think this was pretty representative with a couple areas that I can improve on.